Adam, how did you find Carnivore?
Actually, more probably by mistake than anything. Beginning of this year, I kind of hit rock bottom. I was drinking a lot and gained weight. I was just under 300 pounds. Achy, unhappy, all the things that come along with being at rock bottom. So January 1st, I stopped drinking, but didn't really change my eating habits. That didn't start until about May when my knee blew out. I was actually having to use a cane, and so I started to realize that I needed to you know, change my diet. I had to lose weight, um, and I had to drastically lose weight. I was overweight beyond what I'd ever been. I think I was just the last time I looked at the scale before I started to lose weight. I think I was 298 pounds, probably over 300 to be honest. I'd used keto in the past. So I started to do more of a ketogenic diet, um, and started intermittent fasting. And I was about a week into that when I actually had a doctor's appointment, a physical. So I went in and I saw the doc, and he basically said I was in good health except for being obese, and that really kind of knocked me back quite a bit as well because 57 years old and you're obese. That's you know I'm on my way to a heart attack. I got a kid. I have a wonderful wife. I have a great life. So just stopping drinking, just doing that wasn't working. It wasn't enough. So I started to go down the rabbit hole of what can I do to make myself feel better. The inflammation, my knee, my back, just everything that was aching. And I typed in resets, and Carnivore came up. I'd started Carnivore. I'd seen Carnivore stuff in the past, but I never actually went that way because my understanding, you eat that much red meat, you eat that much eggs, all that protein, all that cholesterol, it's going to kill you. And I'm trying to not kill myself. But I allowed myself to go down the rabbit hole, and I started figuring, okay, I'm going to do the 30-day reset. Just get rid of the carbs, get rid of the sugar. Um, I'd already been keto, so I was somewhat carb. I was somewhat away from carbs, anyways. So the keto flu didn't hit me as bad. I was about a week, and I had some headaches and stuff, but after about a week, I was starting to feel great. Within 2 weeks, the swelling in my knee was almost completely gone. I wasn't using a cane to move around anymore. And within 30 days, I was back to exercising.
That's some quick improvements. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, I think I'm one of these guys. Like, if I'm gonna do it big, I do it really big. So if I'm gonna drink, I drink big. If I'm gonna eat, I eat big. If I'm gonna try to lose weight, I lose weight big. I just saw the doctor 2 weeks ago, and I'm down 62 pounds since May 24th. So that was a big boost.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So at this stage, what are your goals? What do you want to get down to?
Well, my ultimate goal is to try to get down to 190, 200 pounds thereabouts. Um, for my size, for my height, I think my optimum health is somewhere between 170 and 190. So if I fall into the 190 range, I'll be happy with that.
Right. How tall are you?
Just shy of 6'2".
Right.
So it's what, 185 centimeters or something like that.
Right. Right. Oh, cheers. Um, so
I'm unfortunate. Unfortunately, I'm a Canadian that started the metric system halfway through life. Halfway through grade school. So I jump back and forth.
what I always find interesting is the difference between you know pounds, feet, and inches, and the metric system is that even if you're on the metric system, there's some things that come more naturally to measure the other way. Like
Yeah,
a newborn baby or your height and things like
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's funny. Or distance. Like, I don't use miles for distance. I use kilometers for distance. So
Right.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah. So over time, like, so the knee's completely good now.
Yeah, I'm back to exercising. I was doing some. I have a trainer, and he had me doing legs, which was something I just scared scared the crap out of me. I just had this vision of my knee completely imploding. Um, Started light, and I actually added weight because I was feeling absolutely no pain, and the creaking and the moaning and the groaning of my knee is gone. So what I thought was going to need to have surgery, I've definitely not going to need surgery anytime soon on it.
And that's great. So have you noticed any other changes over time, like anything as far as
Oh,
sleep,
yeah.
energy, things like?
Yeah, sleep's much better. My teeth, my teeth are clean. That was a weird. I actually funny little story. Um, I was at one of my vendors' shops, and one of the people that work there, she's a good friend of ours. We've been dealing with them for a long time, so she's kind of like family. And she thought I got new teeth. She didn't recognize I lost a bunch of weight. She actually called my wife and said, "I thought he had new teeth." So it that was an unexpected surprise. So the teeth being cleaner, my gums feel better. Um, yeah, that was one of the big ones. Sleep is much better. Energy,
Uh,
I have more energy than I've had in over 20 years for sure.
that's great. And how does your family react to this?
Um, Overall, pretty good. My wife is very happy because she saw how bad it was getting for me. Um, and it's we live just outside of the city. We live in a an older house. The house needs to be maintained. We both have our chores. And with injuries, it cuts back on the chores, back on our ability to do things, and so one person ends up carrying more of the weight. And for a short period of time, that's great. Like Lisa just went through hip surgery, so I picked up the slack there. But we didn't want to go from hip surgery to me having knee surgery because that'd just be continuous. And she still needed to recover from hip surgery. So no, everyone's pretty happy with my results. I know I am. So that's the big one right there.
Yeah, nice. Has anyone been interested enough to wanna try it, whether that be friends or family?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, my quite a few people at work, well, two for sure that have gone completely carnivore up to this point. One, she's about 2 weeks into it, and I think the other one's probably about the same. So they're both about 2 weeks into it, um, and they just both of them were completely they didn't do anything before, so they had a lot of carbs. So they've had 2 weeks of hell, and but they've made it through, and they're starting to have some energy. So yeah, so yeah.
Nice. Um, so what's a day of eating like for you?
Well, breakfast is my big meal, so I'll do usually an 8 to 10 ounce strip loin or rib steak with 4 or 5 eggs. That will be my breakfast. I do that up in the morning, obviously with my salt and my butter. Um, and then I don't really get any cravings throughout the day. And if I do, I might have a little bit of cheese, like some Baby Bell, just a small amount. Um, or I keep salt. I keep salt with me, so I'll put it in my water. So if the cravings are really bad, and then dinner sometimes it's just straight up eggs, steak and eggs again. I do beef, so I get some nice. I bought a quarter of a cow with a friend, so I got some great cuts of meat from that, and so I'll do up hamburger, a pound of hamburger, mix it up with the eggs, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Steak and eggs.
So, you mentioned cravings. Are the cravings still present, or is that more just when you say cravings now, is that more just
No,
a feeling of kind of
I think just
maybe habit
feeling that
or
yeah, probably more habit, a little bit of hunger. Like I go into the cafeteria at work. They feed us quite well at work if you choose, but it's not healthy. But they keep cheese, they keep um, some meats, but I don't eat any of their meats because it's all processed stuff. But I'll grab a couple pieces of cheese, throughout the day sometimes. And yeah, that's probably more habit than necessity. But
this is it for you? There's no going back?
yeah, I like I said, I started with the 30 days. I think I'm almost 90 days now. Um, and we've had some family functions. We went to Thanksgiving at my sister's. I was able to do that without having to cheat. And they had the desserts there. And what was amazing is I have a sweet tooth, and I have a sweet tooth. Um, I rival anybody out there with a sweet tooth, and I had no desire for anything. We all sat there. I had a coffee, and they had their desserts, and no, didn't bother me. Didn't feel like having any. We brought some leftovers home. Didn't touch it there. So no, no, I don't. At this point, I don't see me stopping. I just had blood work done today with a follow up from my medical back in May. My doctor's Middle Eastern, so he's a little bit more used to eating healthy. So we'll see how he does when he sees my cholesterol levels.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've already warned him. I gave him a heads up that I went carnivore. He's happy with my weight loss. So we'll see how exactly happy he is when we sit down in front of the in front of the computer with my numbers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a good sign at this stage that he hasn't poo-pooed carnivore. So,
Yeah.
it might be an easier conversation than with a lot of other doctors. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's not North American, so he's grown up and he's understand like they don't, I don't think they're quite trained under the same food and health stuff crap.
Yeah. So, what advice would you offer to someone if they wanted to give this a try? So, if someone says, I'm skeptical, but I'm willing to do 90 days. How do I get started? What would you tell them?
Just keep it simple. Keep it simple. Go with the basics: steak, eggs, hamburger. Everybody likes all three things. One of the things I guess I would suggest, even though I've already said I eat cheese halfway through the day, but kind of treat cheese as a garnish, so you don't overdo it with cheese. I'm still making mistakes. I'm learning from watching you guys. I go down the rabbit hole on a regular basis. I think I have some kidney stones right now, which I've had in the past. So I'm passing a kidney stone. I don't blame the diet on that, but I'm kind of hoping it's making it go by a little bit easier, to be honest.
So, Adam, do you have any social media, any way of getting in contact?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram.
Oh, awesome. So I'll link to your Instagram in the show notes.
Oh,
Thank
awesome.
you so much for coming on today and sharing your story. I really appreciate your time.
Well, thank you. Thanks for the invite. I really appreciate this.